Saru bali, asharin satta, adi hakuru bali, hainin satta. Mifada balitaka ki maganu gotega timage zati dirulmuge adakadataka vashage ma hawla sida gulum hori balita. Migotun kem boimuge nurangalu adataka helifeliveulum maduma dumfat ke istimal kurum adi rabuin fada adakadatan himene.
Making headlines this hour, government intensifies efforts on the Rasmala land reclamation project, deploying a high-capacity dredger. Official figures show revenue collection from expatriate workers, related fees and fines reaches $129.7 million. Ministry of Islamic Affairs announces a revision to the nisab for Zakat al-Mal. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSMNEWS in English with me, Minha Maroof. Government intensifies efforts on the Rasmala land reclamation project, deploying a high-capacity dredger and expanding its contractor base in a significant escalation of its largest ongoing infrastructure initiative. Government officials say the move is designed to accelerate the creation of new land aimed at elevating the country's acute housing shortage. The Rasmala development seeks to reclaim 1,009 hectares from the 1,153-hectare Fushi-Diggaru Faru Lagoon. To date, 129.60 hectares have been reclaimed. The administration of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu has positioned the project as a long-term solution to the national housing crisis, with projections indicating the construction of 65,000 housing units upon completion. Driving the latest phase of expansion is the Junyang 1, a trailing suction hopper dredger with a capacity of 21,000 cubic meters, twice the size of the vessels previously employed. The dredger has commenced work on an additional 265 hectares, including 190 hectares in Site C and 75 hectares in Site E, significantly enhancing the pace and scale of reclamation. Project management has also evolved. Initially overseen by two companies across 11 designated sites, the initiative now includes China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, bringing the total number of participating firms to 3. Government sources say the expanded contractor base reflects a strategic effort to scale operations and meet development targets. Work continues across multiple zones. In Site J, 29 hectares have been completed, with coastal protection works now ready to begin. In Sites D, F, G, and L, where 395 hectares are planned, 100.60 hectares have been reclaimed to date. An additional 321 hectares are scheduled for reclamation in Sites A, B, H, and I. To support reclamation activities, the government has overseen the safe relocation of coral populations. A total of 21,641 corals were removed from affected areas and transferred to propagation programs in Benhafaru and Maniafushi in Malay Atoll, as well as to several resort sites. Government officials have noted that environmental safeguards remain central to the project's implementation. Plans for Rasmala extend beyond housing. President Muizzu's administration envisions the area as a model for sustainable urban development, with aspirations for it to become the first zero-carbon city in the Indian Ocean. The project is expected to introduce both technological and ecological innovations to the country. The initial phase of 15,000 housing units has already been awarded to a Chinese company. Official figures show revenue collection from expatriate workers, related fees and fines reaches $129.7 million amid the incumbent government's committed clampdown on undocumented foreign workers in the country. Official figures from 17th November 2023 to 17th August 2025 of the Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology showed that total work permit fee collections stood at $77.8 million. During the period, $51.5 million was collected as quota fees and $116,732 as service fees. In addition, $408,560 was collected as fines during the period, the figures showed, bringing the total to $129.7 million. When the incumbent government took over in November 2023, $123.2 million in foreign workers-related fees was outstanding, which has since been slashed to around $62.7 million within this short period. The government aims to bring a permanent solution to the issue of undocumented migrants in Maldives by April 2027. The flagship initiative of the wide-ranging efforts remains the special operation titled Operation Kurangi. Launched to collect information on foreigners, the operation is being conducted by establishing a system within the local councils to collect biometric data from foreign nationals. Other initiatives include regularization of undocumented expats, deportations, and strengthening of the legal framework for enhanced enforcement. The Ministry of Islamic Affairs announces a revision to the Nisab for Zakat al-Mal, a mandatory Islamic practice of almsgiving that plays a vital role in wealth purification and societal welfare. Effective from 21st August, the new Nisab for Zakat al-Mal has been set at approximately $725.81, up from the previous figure of $600.88 established in April. The Nisab represents the minimum wealth threshold necessitating the payment of zakat. In the Maldives, the Islamic Affairs Ministry is responsible for declaring the Nisab for Zakat al-Mal. The calculation encompasses a variety of assets, notably gold and silver, particularly when the payment is made in cash. Some scholars advocate using the price of silver to determine the Nisab as it is more advantageous for the poor due to its affordability and accessibility compared to gold. The Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA) sets the price of silver, and the Nisab is published on the Maldives Zakat House website. The Nisab is subject to fluctuation throughout the year, driven by changes in the international silver markets. Zakat al-Mal payments require that a full lunar year has elapsed since the wealth reached the Nisab. Since 1st June 2016, the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority (MIRA) has been responsible for collecting Zakat al-Mal. The Elections Commission of the Maldives (ECM) launches a nationwide recruitment campaign to hire more than 260 personnel in preparation for the country's local council and Women's Development Committee elections, scheduled for April 2026. The staffing initiative reflects the scale and complexity of the electoral process in the country, where these two elections consistently draw the highest number of candidates. In its announcement, the Commission detailed a broad range of vacancies across operational and support roles. Positions include officers, senior officers, content creators, drivers, maintenance staff, and security personnel. Additional openings are available for laborers, logistics officers, assistant master trainers, graphic designers, technology officers, photographers, and office assistants. Applications will be accepted until 3 p.m. on February 26, 2026. The ECM confirmed that preparation for the elections are already underway. Given the historically high level of candidate participation, officials have prioritized early mobilization and resource planning to ensure a smooth and transparent process. As part of its broader strategy, the Commission intends to digitize nearly all aspects of the April elections. While voting and vote counting will remain manual, administrative procedures will be conducted through digital platforms. ECM officials say the move is designed to improve accessibility and streamline operations for the public. The Commission also noted its ongoing collaboration with political parties to reinforce democratic institutions and promote inclusive participation. Maldives Immigration officially launches 3 new campaigns aimed at service enhancement for immigration officers. The campaigns serve with a smile, integrity, the highest ethical standards. The Uphold Humanity, meanwhile, highlights the importance of treating all residents and visitors with respect, fairness, and dignity. Speaking at the launch, the Controller General Fasih said immigration officers are the face of the country, as they are the first to welcome tourists upon arrival and the last to bid them farewell at departure, adding that the way they serve reflects the values of the institution and the nation. Following the launch, the Controller General visited the main divisions of the organization to personally introduce the campaigns and emphasize the importance of embedding these values into daily operations. The campaigns will continue across various offices in Male and the atolls, with active participation from all immigration officers. They will also include sessions conducted by professionals on the importance of customer service, integrity, and human rights. The Phase 1 of the Taxiway Charlie rebuild project at the Valana International Airport VIA has been completed and officially handed over to the Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL. The project was carried out by China's Beijing Urban Construction Group BUCG, which has played a significant role in the VIA expansion project. The 4-phase project was awarded on 15 October last year, and BUCG has completed Phase 1 84 days ahead of schedule, according to MACL. BUCG officially handed over the project completion certificate to MACL at a ceremony held at the Hurule Island Hotel HIH to mark the completion of the first phase of the project, attended by senior officials from both companies alongside Civil Aviation Authority officials. MACL Deputy Managing Director Mujtaba Jalil received the completion certificate from BUCG's Project Director Kang Guangbo. Speaking at the ceremony, MACL's chairperson Aisha Nourain Jannah said the completion of the Taxiway Charlie development project will ease operations of airlines flying in and out of VIA. She also thanked BUCG for being an important and reliable partner in the development of the country's main airport. VIA ceased using the old runway in 2022 when operations were switched to the new Code F runway. The old runway, developed in 1966 with a total length of 3,200 meters, has undergone various repairs amid plans to utilize it as a taxiway. MACL has estimated that once the Taxiway Charlie rebuild project is completed, it will reduce the average turnaround time of a commercial airline to VIA by at least 20 minutes. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang tells reporters at his hotel in Taipei that his company is waiting for purchase orders from China before producing more H20 chips. U.S. President Donald Trump earlier this month opened the door to the possibility of more advanced NVIDIA chips beyond the H20 being sold in China and reached a deal with NVIDIA and AMD under which the U.S. government would receive 15% of the revenue from sales of some advanced chips in China. NVIDIA only received permission in July to commence sales of the H20.
We've prepared a lot of H20 already, but now we are waiting for purchase orders from China customers. And so when we receive the orders, we will be able to produce more.
It was developed specifically for China after export restrictions were put in place in 2023, but the company was abruptly ordered to stop sales in April. Shortly after Washington's green light, NVIDIA placed orders for 300,000 H20 chips with TSMC to add to its existing inventory due to strong demand from Chinese companies, Reuters reported.
I'll probably talk about our journey together, TSMC and NVIDIA. In a lot of ways, NVIDIA would not be here today without TSMC, and we grew up together.
But NVIDIA was days later hit by allegations from China's cyberspace regulator and state media that the U.S. company's chips would pose security risks. Huang had arrived in Taipei to visit chip foundry partner TSMC. The United Nations aid chief says that the famine that has struck parts of Gaza was preventable, blaming the systematic obstruction of aid by Israel and demanding that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu let supplies in on a massive scale. UN Emergency Coordinator Tom Fletcher told reporters in Geneva, commenting on the release of a report by a global hunger monitor, it is a famine that UN could have prevented if it had allowed, yet food stacks up at borders because of systematic obstruction by Israel. According to aid agencies, malnutrition experts and the UN, the hunger crisis in Gaza is at a tipping point, with critically low supplies of fortified milk and special nutritious pastes exacerbating food shortages and pushing greater numbers of children into starvation.
Be in no doubt that this is irrefutable testimony. It is a famine. The Gaza famine. It is a famine that we could have prevented if we had been allowed. Yet food stacks up at borders because of systematic obstruction by Israel. It is a famine within a few hundred meters of food in a fertile land. It is a famine that hits the most vulnerable first, each with a name, each with a story, that strips people of dignity before it strips them of life.
Almost 2 years since Israel's invasion, a famine was formally confirmed for the first time in parts of Gaza on Friday, with almost a quarter of the population facing starvation, according to the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC), the main global hunger monitor working with the UN and other aid agencies. Fletcher said the 21st century famine should be a moment of collective shame, adding that international actors watched it unfold in real time. The UN Human Rights Chief says that the emergence of famine in northern Gaza is the direct result of actions taken by the Israeli government, and said that deaths from starvation might amount to a war crime. Volker Turk said in a statement read to reporters at a Geneva press briefing, referring to a report by the Global Hunger Monitor, that the famine declared today in Gaza Governorate by the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC) is the direct result of actions taken by the Israeli government. Almost 2 years since Israel's invasion, a famine was formally confirmed for the first time in parts of Gaza on August 22nd, with almost a quarter of the population facing starvation, according to the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC), the main global hunger monitor working with the UN and other aid agencies.
It is a war crime to use starvation as a method of warfare, and the resulting deaths may also amount to the war crime of willful killing. The Israeli authorities must take immediate steps to end the famine in the Gaza Governorate and prevent further loss of life across the Gaza Strip.
COGAT, the Israeli military agency that coordinates aid, accused Hamas of a false starvation campaign and said the UN and others were spreading unfounded claims about hunger in Gaza. In a statement read to journalists at the Geneva briefing, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, quote, "We cannot allow the situation to continue with impunity." Unquote. Speaking from Gaza, WHO representative for the occupied Palestinian territory, Rick Peppercorn, said the famine classification is staggering and that the situation is expected to worsen through September. Manchester City defender Ruben Dias has signed a contract extension that will keep him with the club until 2029. The 28-year-old centre-back has lifted 10 trophies, including a historic treble in 2023, since he arrived from Benfica in 2020. The Portugal international was named 2020-21 Premier League Player of the Season and the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year. and was a key part of City's historic feat of becoming the first team to win 4 consecutive top-flight titles in 2024.
I think it's only wise, and I think it comes with the experience of having been a professional till you're 28-year-old, and like you're saying, to all of us, this is a crucial part in our careers. I mean, obviously between many different things, but I think the main one was to play at this level, and obviously these for me here, it's perfect conditions. There's nothing else I can want from football in terms of a place to be. And I've said it many times, maybe more in private. When you look at football in general, and especially Europe, the highest level, the Premier League was always the target, and the Premier League was the one I was watching when I was a kid. The Premier League was my kind of, what I set the standard of being top or not, and to have now the opportunity of extending and be fighting for 9 years, 10 years in this club and in this level. Obviously, like you said, I've won many things since I've came, and hopefully I'll win more. But I think just the achievement of playing at this level for 9 or 10 years is just by itself one I will for sure be very proud of.
City's director of football, Hugo Viana, praised Dias for his hard work and professionalism. Viana said he is a leader in the dressing room and on the pitch. Egypt receives submerged artifacts at the shore of the coastal city of Alexandria. Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, Muhammad Ismail, said the artifacts that were retrieved on August 21st date back to successive periods starting from the Ptolemaic era until the Roman era. Ismail added that the retrieved pieces are proof that the city continued to be lived in and developed throughout ages since its construction by Alexander the Great in 300